We're gonna need a 3/8 ratchet at extension. We're gonna need a 12 millimeter. The 12 millimeter is gonna be for the oil tank reservoir. For the bottom engine case oil plug, we're gonna need a 22 millimeter. We're gonna need a 10 millimeter Allen wrench, and that one goes for the top casing to fill up. And we're gonna need this for the oil filter. It's a 5 millimeter, and it goes right there. That usually goes right in there. All this is gonna be metric. Japanese is a metric. We're gonna need to catch the oil filter, 2.2 quarts. We got 3 quarts. We're gonna need some napkins to complete the job. We're gonna turn on the bike, bring up the temperature to operating range. Let the vehicle warm up. We're gonna shut off the ATV, the oils at operating range. We're gonna be draining the oil tank. It's a 12 millimeter. Broke it free. The secret is not to get the oil in your hand, but that's impossible. And to catch the plug. Oh, we almost lost the crush washer. There you go. 12 millimeter. You always want to wipe it down. We're going to put the drain plug back in the oil tank reservoir. Start it by hand. It's a 12 millimeter. Not too tight. Don't forget it's aluminum. I'm gonna just snug it on there. That's it. Then we're gonna drain the oil casing. That's gonna be a 22 millimeter right on the bottom, right here. That's what it is. It's a little messy. Wipe it off. It's always handy to have a couple of rags, some shop rags around. Holy shoot, making a mess. Thank you, Mr. Beto, my assistant. My director and partner in crime. And this is what it looks like. Has a crush washer. Usually replace the crush washer every time, but didn't have it at the store, so we it doesn't have no wear patterns or anything on it. We're just gonna reuse it. It's the first oil change on the Raptor, so I think it'll be okay. Right now, you're just gonna wait for the oil to drain out, and we'll let you be. We gotta take the casing plug off, just so it won't, just so the air pockets could release all the oil. Pull the plug off. Make sure that the O-ring don't fall in the engine. Put the O-ring back. Looks about good. Put this aside. Okay. I'm gonna put the drain plug back in on the case. Yeah, you want to start it by hand. You don't want to torque it too much because the cases are made out of aluminum. and you don't want to strip it. So, you know, I do this for a living. You don't want to go too tight. I recommend you torque it down to spec, but you know, we don't got that right now, so we're just gonna that's about right. There you go. We like to tilt the bike a little bit to the side, so when we're taking off the oil filter, there's not really no way without making a mess. So this is the drain plug for the oil filter. Sucker's on there tight. And let it drain out. Usually it runs down all your case, but this way tilted, it doesn't make that much of a mess. That's why we usually put the ramps on the other side, as you guys can see, or somehow, some way. But when you guys are about to put the oil in, try to have it leveled so you can get an accurate reading on the oil level. And right now we're just going to play the waiting game. Just pretty much try to advance a little. You can break the other bolts kind of loose. The bottom bolt's a little bit shorter. This one's a little bit longer. The two top ones are about the same size. They're a little bit longer than the bottom one. The bottom drain one is a little bit shorter. You guys can see. Two top, and the bottom. Then you pull out the filter. Get a rag. When you pull this off, there's two O-rings. This one's a little smashed up. There's another O-ring right here. Usually, sometimes they get stuck in here. When you have two O-rings, it's not gonna, you probably lose oil pressure, and God forbid it, something happens to your motor. So you want to make sure that you take off the O-rings when you install your new oil filter. It always leaks oil here. There's no way around this one. Even with the tilt, it still makes a little mess. Wipe everything off. You go through the dirt and it all cakes on there. You don't want to have that on there. Your oil filter housing has an O-ring. There's another O-ring right about here. Make sure that stays in there and you have it. Just kind of wipe this off. Should be good. That's what it looks like. Okay. Suckers are always kind of hard to open. Poke it in there. Alright, we're going to wet the O-rings. Now just look at get a better seal. They expand a little bit more. Then this side is going to have a groove inside the case. Just going to put that on there. It's right on there. This side right here is always going to go up There's pretty much no way you could put it on wrong. It only goes one way. Put that on there. 2 big bolts go on top. Put that on right there. The little bolt goes on the, oh, sorry about that. Little bolt goes on the bottom. You don't want to tighten all one side down. Kind of want to do equal pressure. I just kind of started by hand. Turn it in there. This side's kind of grabbing. You a little bit on this side. Equal pressure. About right there. That's about right. You don't want to go too tight on these. Nice and snug. And that's it. Now we're going to put oil inside the casing. We're going to be topping off the engine with motor oil. We went with the full synthetic. And that's it. Always make sure that the O-ring is on there and it doesn't fall in the engine. End up with some problems in there. Snug it up. Not too tight, just snug. And now we're gonna go to the oil tank reservoir. We're gonna put 1 quart in it. 0.2, and that's right here at this mark right there. So here goes the 1 quart, and this is going to go inside the oil reservoir, the oil tank reservoir. This one's brand new. We're going to let it go in there. That's done. And now I'm going to put the 0.2. 0.2. That's about it right there. And to confirm the oil, we're going to check the dipstick. Make sure that the funnel's nice and it's always going to drip. I like to put it in, wipe it off. You don't have to screw it in. I usually go like this. Check the oil. Looks like it still needs halfway. We'll put a little bit more in it. A little bit more. Okay, we're gonna it's right at the full mark. We're gonna fire it up. It's ready. It's safe to start. So we'll put this on. We'll fire it up. We'll let the oil circulate through the motor. Then we'll double check our dipstick again. We're going to start up the motor to heat up the oil, circulate through the motor. The cylinder feels a little cold. Let it warm up. It's kind of cold outside. I like to do stuff like Bill. Feels like the motor got a little bit hot. Shut it off. I'm going to be checking the oil. Now we're going to check the dipstick. Just like I thought. Perfect. We're going to double check it. Wipe it down. Perfect. And that's how you do an oil change on a Raptor 700R 2020.